Honestly, I was struggling to get deals and things like that, and he wasn't sure he wanted to go that route. And so pressure washing came back across my mind there, and I was like, well, you remember when I was talking about pressure washing? And he's like, yeah. And he said, I like the idea of that. And I said, right. I said, I like seeing things just come clean right before my eyes too. That's kind of why I was interested in it.
We've noticed here and there, just like you'll have people who are like, yeah, I'll give you a review, later when I get home, and it never happens. Or I'll give you a review after I pay, and it never happens. And I texted her and I said, hey, just wanted to know if you were wanting to get on schedule again for this year. We could do it as early as August or September. Just let us know. And she was like, yeah, that sounds great. I was like, if you give me a review, I will give you $20 off on your house. And she literally right afterwards, I got her name, gave a review on Google, and I was like, there we go. Yes. That's what it takes.
We mean what we say, and we will not stop until we earn the 5-star.
Yeah.
If it means losing all the money on the job, I don't want to do that, and we strive hard not to, but that's really how we roll with this business.
Welcome back to the Built Local podcast. Today we have Patrick and Cam from Skyrise Pressure Washing calling in from the huge conference, a huge home service conference in Tennessee, right?
Yeah, we're in Nashville at the Gaylord Opry Hotel.
Awesome. Cool. Well, how are y'all doing today? Thanks for hopping on.
Doing great, man. Appreciate you having us on.
Beautiful morning here in Nashville.
Yep.
Heck yeah. Sweet. So for anybody who doesn't know who y'all are, tell them a little bit about y'all's story, your background, and your business.
Well, my background is I have a real estate license to sell, and I've also worked in aviation for a while in R&D, and that kind of lended itself really well to building out our rig when it came time to do what we were going to do. I had an idea to do this back in 2015, but due to sickness in my family and losing a family member, it kind of went on the back burner, and I just kept working somewhere else. But then Cameron came to me right when he graduated high school, and it was like, I'm not going to go into debt for college, so I kind of want to start a business, and I'll let him take it from there.
Yep. So I was a videographer from the time I was 14 to 18. So I was using a camera, and that's kind of what I wanted to do when I got out of high school. But after a little bit, you kind of realize that unless you have your foot in the door in most larger like commercial jobs and stuff like that, you don't really have an in, and you kind of have to build it. And I wanted something where I could kind of just build clientele, go to work, make decent money, and not have to worry about struggling like over the next few months and getting work. And so I brought it up to my dad, and I was like, I know I hate working for people, and I don't want to go work for anybody. I was like, but I would love to create a business. And he said, well, what if we just did pressure washing and tried pressure washing again? And so we thought on it and sat on it for like a couple months. And right afterwards, got a loan to get a truck out. And we got a truck and built the truck out over about 5 to 6 months. And then from then on, we've just been running and pedaling and pressure washing. So, yeah.
Awesome. I love it. Why pressure washing? What was the decision-making process there?
When we were sitting down talking about the type of businesses that we were interested in doing, I'd actually said, hey, do you want to go get your real estate license, start selling real estate? And he could kind of see how at the time the market was not the best, and how, honestly, I was struggling to get deals and things like that, and he wasn't sure he wanted to go that route. And so pressure washing came back across my mind there, and I was like, well, you remember when I was talking about pressure washing? And he's like, yeah. And he said, I like the idea of that. And I said, right. I said, I like seeing things just come clean right before my eyes too. That's kind of why I was interested in it. And so we set about, getting all the LLC and all that set up and finding out about the insurance, things like that. We started shopping for the truck, and we ended up starting out with a 2001 Duramax 3500 flatbed, which we still use today. It's our only rig, and it was a cheaper way into the business, but had a diesel engine and a good transmission. So that helped us with having, something that was fairly reliable. Yeah. And then being a flatbed rig makes it easier to maneuver. We were talking about a trailer rig at one time, and being that he was younger, I was worried that it would be frustrating for him to use a trailer. So we built a flatbed and just started the normal thing of, hey, we're in business, not knowing what the best way to go about building this business was. Just knew that we wanted to go to work. And so we just got business cards, the typical deal, started passing around, started going on Facebook and telling people, hey, we wash houses for a living, and
telling everybody we could about it.
Our church started supporting us pretty quickly. People coming out of the woodwork with them, and that was a blessing in disguise. But that's what really got us going and got us content to be able to post. Yeah. And he got the content. He went with that, and because he knows how to do those things. And And so
Real quick, if you're a local business owner and you want to start getting customers from Google, you know how important Google reviews are. Every week, I talk to business owners just like you across hundreds of industries who know reviews matter, but never seem to have the time or the system in place to actually get them. That's exactly why I've spent the last 2 years building Review Harvest. We built it with a non-tech savvy business owner in mind, so anybody can set it up in minutes and start getting reviews today. It automates the process of getting real reviews from your customers, responding to those reviews, and repurposing them across your website and across your social media platforms. It's a set it and forget it software. You can get it all set up in about 10 minutes and you never have to worry about reviews again. We can integrate into the tools you're already using so you don't have to change a thing. You don't have to train your team on how to request reviews. You don't have to request them manually. You get customers, we get you reviews. It's simple as that. And the first play in our playbook is what we call a review reactivation. You probably have hundreds or thousands of previous customers who loved your service but never left your review. So a lot of times our users can double or even triple their reviews just in the first couple months of working with us when we do that review reactivation.
We've been full heads down and going as hard as we can for these last year and a half, 2 years. And I've loved every minute of it, even the hard times. And so we're just staying in it, trying to build it as best as we can.
And we kind of pride ourselves on being a father-son team, which financially, when you're first starting out, is hard because you've got two people trying to draw an income from a beginning business.
Yeah.
But we're making it work, and that's what we're here for this week. It's our second year in a row coming here, and we're in the place now to where we're trying to scale. That's the next step.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. Well, and one thing I loved about y'all's website, talking to y'all, is that it's very apparent that y'all are a family-owned business and family-run business. I think that, more than ever nowadays, consumers and homeowners want to work with local businesses that they trust. And so, it sounds like that's where y'all started. Y'all started with kind of your warm network from church and your local area people, people that knew you to kind of get the ball rolling and get those jobs in. But once y'all kind of, exhausted that network and continued working with them, what was kind of the next step for marketing, how y'all are going to get the rest of your jobs?
We are on Google. We are Google guaranteed. And I struggle day to day with the fees and setting it to a certain amount or whatever. But in all honesty, and Cam can speak to this too, most of the time when we show up on a job, they tell us, well, we seen you on Google, we read your profile, or we read your reviews, and we just want to go with you. We've actually gained business where we were more expensive than the other guy, but they really like what they seen in us. And so we have to always focus on being that company if that's what's going to set us apart. The father-son duo type thing where they know that, and Cameron can also say or tell you this, we have a little slogan within our company that we actually tell our people that we work for that we're not leaving until we earn your 5-star. And we mean that.
Yeah.
If it means coming back 3 or 4 times and us losing money on the job, which we've never had to do because we are pretty particular about our work, we mean what we say. And we will not stop until we earn the 5-star.
Yeah.
If it means losing all the money on the job, I don't want to do that. And we strive hard not to, but that's really how we roll with this business. So
yeah,
I agree.
For sure. That's what I think Dan Kennedy says. You don't make sales. You don't acquire customers to make sales. You make sales to acquire customers, right? Like your first job, you might lose some money on the first job, but obviously that doesn't sound like that's the case. But as long as you do that 5-star, who are they going to call next year or next 6 months? To get it washed again.
Yep, that's correct.
Yeah, when they see you go that extra mile, it kind of puts you in the running next time. Yep. People want to do business with folks that they trust and know that will do a good job. And Cam and I, when we show up, if it takes a 20-minute, 30-minute conversation before we go to work, that's what we do. We allot enough time in our job that it gives us time to talk with people. But not only that, it gives us time to go back and check and make sure that if we miss something, we fix it before we ever even talk about getting paid or leaving.
Yeah.
When you build that type of trust with a customer, it's kind of hard to lose them after that if they're needing your service next year or the year after that. So.
For sure. That's awesome. Well, when it comes to the conference, what's been y'all's biggest takeaway so far from the huge conference?
In all honesty, I love the social aspect. I know everybody most of the time likes to go to class and actually learn, but meeting other pressure washers and other people in the service business and actually being able to talk to them and ask them questions and them ask us questions and stuff like that. I think that because I'm very big on, what's the word I'm looking for?
Networking.
No, testimony.
Yeah.
I'm very big on testimony. Yeah. I think that definitely gives people, or it gives me hope for what can happen because it's happened for other people. And so I like to listen to testimony and actually take that into consideration from people. And that's why I love the social aspect, just because I like talking about other people's businesses and what they've gone through and how it compares to ours. And the classes are great, don't get me wrong, but we've met already multiple people last year and this year that we were already really good friends with. And so, yeah, that's probably my takeaway from it.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
Jeremy Messer, he was here. He just left last night, but he was here, and I know he's one of your customers as well. And we've had the similar results that he's had in the time that we've been using your service, which is just unbelievable.
Yep.
Really, we struggled so hard at first asking for a review, and it got a lot easier after the first year to the point that we're really good at asking for them. But having your service coming in and watching our back at all times and trying to gain more 5 stars I mean, well, I'm sure we'll share the numbers here in a little bit, but it's unbelievable in the time that we've gained that many 5
Yeah.
stars. So
Yeah, no, for sure. I think, going back to networking and the testimony of it, just being in a room with other people doing the same thing you're doing, and sometimes doing it at a larger scale can just break some beliefs or break some doubt that we have in our minds. I mean, I know I
absolutely.
just paid a decent amount of money to be in a community of other software business owners, and it's like you talk to them and they're doing 10 times the amount of revenue that you're doing,
Right.
and you're like, you know what? I think we're doing I mean, I think I'm on the same path, I think I can do that too, and they'll just say a couple nuggets that you'll take with you, and you're like, "Oh, that was worth the price of admission by far," and so, that's really valuable, and, yeah, when it comes to reviews, so were y'all are just asking manually for reviews before, working with Review Harvest?
Well, yeah, what it would be, we use a CRM if you want to explain that.
Yeah. So we actually use Markate or Market, however most people want to describe it. And
Yeah, right.
yeah, we use that every day, and we actually send a review link most of the time when we complete a job, and it comes through with the invoice. But the thing with it is most people don't click on that. They just click on payment, pay the link, and then don't actually go back to the other link to give us a review. And so we've noticed here and there, just like you'll have people who are like, "Yeah, I'll give you a review, later when I get home," and it never happens, or "I'll give you a review after I pay," and it never happens. And so we try to like go back and tell them like, "Hey, will you give us a review?" But there was one woman who I actually went to church with, and we did her house. She was
Mhm.
the third house we've ever completed. After we got it done, I looked at her and I was like, "I would really love a 5-star review. It just really helps us out and goes a long way." She was like, "I'll do it tonight." Well, another year
Yeah.
goes by, right? And we don't think about it, and we go and clean her house again the same exact time the next year. And so I finish up, I look at her afterwards, and I was like, "Hey, I know you didn't give us one last year, but we would really appreciate that 5-star review. It would be great." And she just said, "Yep, I'll do it when I get home tonight." And then another year goes by. So now I actually texted her again this last month, and I texted her and I said, "Hey, just wanted to know if you were wanting to get on schedule again for this year. We could do it as early as August or September. Just let us know." And she was like, "Yeah, that sounds great." I was like, "If you give me a review, I will give you $20 off on your house." And she literally right afterwards, I got her name, gave a review on Google, and I was like, "There we go.
Yeah.
That's what it takes." And then about a month later, we started Review Harvest, and it has skyrocketed and made it way easier
It's
for us.
crazy,
So
the difference. The difference is
Yeah,
complete.
yeah. I think y'all had how many reviews y'all have before y'all started working through Review Harvest?
I think we were around the high 60s, wasn't we?
I don't even think we were that
Or
high.
we're not that
I think
high.
we were just over 60 or right under 60.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I could look at your account. I think it was like 62 or 63
Yep.
or
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's barely been a month. I think y'all are at 79 now,
Yeah, we're
right?
at 79. Yep.
That blew my mind, man. I was like, "Good Lord." I mean, we still got a few months to go.
Yep. You're talking about almost 20 we got 11 in 4 days.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was like the big one. Like right when we started it and it actually had sent out, the links and all, it was literally 4 days and we had gotten 11 more compared to the other one. And I was freaking out. Like my sister was like, "No way, this is real." And I was like, I mean, it looks real. And I mean, she was scrolling through all of them, reading all of them. Like these are insane. And
And
Yeah.
I set a goal at the beginning of the season to break 100 this year, 5 stars.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I feel really good about it now. I wasn't real sure about it
Yeah.
because honestly, in our market, it's kind of slowed, and so we're actually working a little harder now to try to get work.
with all the rain and everything that's happened in July and carried over into August, people hate getting their house cleaned during the rain for some reason,
Yeah.
especially in North Carolina. And so we
Yeah.
just have to schedule for after the rain. So this past like half a month has been fairly slow, but even during that slow period,
We're still
we had
getting 5
sent that
stars.
link out and we had got those 11 in 4 days, and we weren't even working those days. And it was blowing my mind because I'm waking up at 8 a.m., and I look at my phone and there's 2 reviews, and I'm like, oh, okay, great. Like, I didn't even know that could happen, but
That's awesome. I love to hear that. And yeah, y'all are well on your way to 100 reviews. So that's exciting. Yeah, talk a little bit more about the market. You are the father-son duo. Y'all market yourselves as kind of the family-run business. How do y'all differentiate yourself from the other competitors, in your area?
Well, just the fact that we're a duo at it. Most guys are starting out with a truck and by themselves and, trying to make ends
Mhm.
meet and just try to build it on their own. And that's great. I mean, I champion those people a lot. I just wanted to build something with my son. And, we've got another business, which we haven't mentioned, which we would definitely be having you help us with that in the future. I'll show you a
Yeah.
hat now, but this is our other company. Well, where are we at? There we go. We just started a
Okay.
commercial. Just started a commercial roofing company, and we're about 4 months in on the setup of that, and we are actually Tuesday going out on some pretty decent leads that hopefully will land us our first job. And so we'll be setting up with you for that company as well to get those 5 stars. And but getting back to it it's just I wanted to build something with him that eventually he could take off and run with. And then the
Mhm.
roofing thing came along, and I'm like, okay, buddy, well, we're partners in this. We'll definitely be partners in the roofing company.
yeah.
But now, when it comes time to separate and each one of us be able to focus on building each company,
Yeah.
we can do
Mhm.
that. So
Yeah.
that's the plan as of now. You tell God your plans and he'll laugh, but that's our plan anyway. And hopefully he'll see fit to make it happen.
I would say most of the time people don't realize how much like building a personal relationship with clients actually does. And we are
Yeah.
like, I like to say, I hate to toot my horn, but we are actually very good at that. I would say
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
we've
Because
taken
Yeah.
we've taken the time to stand there for an hour to 2 hours
we
and have
want to be.
conversations with people. And so I
Yeah.
feel like that is kind of how we differentiate in our market. We're a year-round sort
Yeah.
of market. In all honesty, there's only a couple months out of the year, 3 months out of the year where we're not cleaning, and so
Yeah.
we try to, as much as we can, stay in front of people. And this year we've kind of taken a step back from that just because we were full, like working like since April all the way to June, but it slowed down these last couple months because of rain, and we've felt that slowness because we took the time to not actually go out and be staying in front of people and marketing and word of mouth and those type of things. But
We didn't keep our foot on the gas because
correct.
also we were also trying to get started with the roofing company.
Yeah.
So we kind of got a
Yeah.
little slack on making sure we're staying,
So compared to the
active
last
in the
year,
pressure wash.
it was slower with the pressure washing side than it was. And I've already told him that in my mind, what it is the fact that we're not taking our time to go out and actually have conversations with people and talk to them about what they need done and, tell them to tell other people about us,
Mm.
those type of things.
Yeah.
And so we're wanting to get back into that. We kind of this last year have relied a little bit too much on social media and Google and all that. And it does
Mhm.
work for a while, but if you don't stay physically in front of people, it changes in an instant. And so we've just been basically these last couple months trying to keep ourselves in front of people. So
So
Yeah, for sure. And I
we
think
go ahead.
people go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say we've realized now that the fact that we took our foot off the gas for that little bit of time has really helped in slowing us down in
right.
business. So it's a good learning, if you will. It's hurting just enough to teach us something, I
Yeah.
guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we know, and everybody that's in business needs to understand this concept right here. You're not in whatever business you're in as far as the vehicle that you're using. You're in the marketing business.
Mhm.
McDonald's is in
Yeah.
the marketing business. It's just they use hamburgers as their vehicle.
Yeah.
Well, we're in the
Yeah.
pressure washing business, but we're really a marketing company. We just use pressure washing as our
Yeah.
vehicle. So if you're not on the gas year round as far as your marketing efforts and staying out in front of the public, it doesn't matter what business you're in, you're going to suffer. And we learned that. And again, part of it is we have had a really rainy season this year, but we had this other business that we're trying to get off the ground, and putting time into that took away time from our day to day.
And
So
that was our
Yeah.
own problem.
Yeah.
And we've actually like identified it now, and we're trying to figure out how we can during a week take time from both businesses
to build both
enough time for both businesses to build both and not you basically lose clientele for both, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, before we get back to the video, if you're a local business owner and you're serious about getting more customers from Google, I want to invite you to our free school community linked down below. Inside, you'll get weekly coaching calls where I can personally help you one-on-one so you're never stuck wondering what to do next to get more customers. Once you join, we'll give you a custom-built ranking report to show you exactly how you're ranking against your competitors, and then we'll even show you the next couple things you can do to start ranking higher. We do all of these reports manually to make sure they're done right. You'll get our 50,000 Google review script, the same script we've used to help hundreds of businesses get over 50,000 reviews, showing you what to say, when to request the review, how to follow up and get that review without being annoying or awkward. And you'll even get a step-by-step checklist on how to optimize your Google Business profile to make sure you're ranking at the top of Google. Sometimes just making a few tweaks on that Google Business profile can be the difference between never showing up on Google and dominating your area. All in all, you'll get access to a community of business owners and experts trying to grow their business just like you. It's a safe space to ask questions and get more tailored one-on-one advice. It's 100% free. I don't have a coaching program or a course to sell you. Just click the link down below, join the community. We'd love to see you inside. Yeah, no, for sure. And I think it's good for y'all. I mean, being only 2 years in business or so. And I think a lot of people that are just getting into it, they're so short-sighted and like, okay, I got this job, I got the money, all right, let me do it, get paid and move on. But that's so short-sighted. If you do take the time to create the relationship, then, that one $800 job turns into an $800 job, 10 times in the next couple of years.
Correct.
So what's kind of y'all's plans for, is it plans in terms of how many jobs or plans in terms of revenue for growth for Skyrise? What's the goal?
Well, I will say this. We got our first year was last year, first full year. We're in our second full year. And I don't know that we have enough data to really be able to determine that. I mean, I seen when I was thinking about what we were going to talk about, I was like, if he asks about numbers, I don't really know as far as forecast yet what we're looking at.
Last year, I think I can remember what our total was. I haven't tracked numbers for each month this year for basically what we're going to end with or what the goal is to end with.
Because the market is kind of
literally, we don't know. Like I've explained it to people since we've been here. North Carolina's odd. I mean, we literally, our best months last year was August and our worst month this year is August. So it's literally, it's kind of like a hit or miss. And so how it's been for us, last year we made 64, right?
Yeah, I think so.
We made about 62 or 64,000 total for the year. And then this year I couldn't tell you what we're going to make, but I'm pretty sure we're at least half of that.
I mean that's not big numbers, and so that's why we're kind of wondering what's up. Honestly, we've had more quotes going out this year by far, way more quotes. We've got over 60 quotes right now that are active that we haven't gotten an answer on. So we're actually getting ready to be calling those back this coming week and finding what's up.
Yeah.
But more quotes are out there for people that have called and contacted us and said, hey, we need your service. The closing rate is what's not the best right now.
Yeah.
And so we've identified the fact that we've got to improve our closing rate. We've got to find a way that we put the ball in their court quickly and have them make a decision instead of, hey, we'll send you a quote. You can live with it for a while. And when you get around to it, how about letting us know what you want to do?
Yeah.
We've got to start being more, I don't say aggressive, but kind of.
Yeah. We came into this, dude, we came into the huge convention kind of blinded with our market. Like we came in here thinking that most of the people that were here are not close to what we're dealing with or not relatively close at all to what we're dealing with. But we've had multiple people here from other states say as well that this summer is a slow summer and they don't know why. And so we just are kind of, obviously it sounds like excuses and I hate making excuses, but we like to also try to like explain and basically put it in people's head that pressure washing it's only good for if you are staying in front of people. If you at any point are not in front of people and they don't know your name, don't know what you look like even, you are going to have a little bit of a slower downtime than most. And we've learned that more this year than we did in our first year. And so we've called it already the sophomore slump, like people say already. Yeah. And we've called it our sophomore slump just because we're learning more in our second than our first.
Yeah.
And I'm blessed, but at the same time, like he said, it hurts just a little bit, just enough to make us think about it.
Well, if you're not constantly evaluating, you're not going to make it in this business and in any business for that matter. And I'll tell you, if you're a shy person, that's the first thing you need to work on for yourself. Stop. People are not going to, my dad used to say this and I never understood it. He would say, they can kill you, but they can't eat you. And I was like, what is he talking about? But he's speaking to, people can't do but so much to you. A no is not a career ending thing. It's just a no. You've got to push past that. And then if you find and can identify what it is that's causing you not to sell or not to close deals, then fix it.
Yep.
If you break through it and get on a camera and just talk about anything in the world on Facebook, get used to being uncomfortable.
Yep.
Eventually it gets a lot easier, and you've got to get in front of people. You're not going to be successful in business if you want to sit in a room, hang your shingle up and say, hey, this is what I do for a living. Please call me so I can come do work privately. That's
Yep.
just not going to work.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, no, for sure. Especially in today's day and age. I think I heard this the other day. I was on a sales call with somebody and I was like, yeah, I'll let you know. And he did such a good job of sidestepping that. It's like, just sending me the pressure. Yeah, let me talk to my wife. Let me talk to my husband.
Right.
You hear that all the time. And he was just like, he's like, okay, that sounds like a soft no. So what's holding you back? What's the issue? What's making you from pulling the trigger? And I'm not the best at sales in the world ever, but just being able to move that conversation forward for like, hey, let's not just keep this out in the abyss. Oh yeah, here's the estimate. Here's
Yep.
the quote. Talk to you soon. Or it's like, how do we get something else on the calendar to come meet you again? And how do we keep this conversation going and stay in front of them? Because yeah, it's so easy. I mean, I just bought a house recently, and we've had people come out to do certain things around the house, and it's crazy how often like people will give you a quote or an estimate, and you're like, all right, I'll let you know, and then you never hear from them again. I was on a sales call the other day, and I told the guy to get back to him. He was just did such a good job of sidestepping that. He was like, all right, that sounds like a soft no. So what do we need to do to kind of get you to pull the trigger and move forward? Is something about the pricing? Is something about the service? Whatever it is. And we just recently bought a home, and we've had people come out to give us quotes for stuff. And I'm like, all right, yeah, we'll let you know, or I'll talk to my wife, or my wife's like, I'll talk to my husband. And then they just never follow up, And there's a couple of them that were like, all right, we'll probably pull the trigger on this service. But now I'm kind of experimenting, like, how long is it going to take these people to follow up? And so
Right.
constantly staying in front of those people is really, really important. But yeah, no, that's good stuff. Sales is difficult. Are y'all learning a lot about sales at the huge conference? Are they talking about sales there? Or?
yeah, I mean, it's mainly about sales and scaling, putting in systems, things like that, trying to work to the, and being that we're new, some of these systems are not for us just yet. You're right. But, putting in systems where we're taking some of the pressure off us of the day to day so that we can go out and really laser focused on sales.
Yeah.
And I do agree with what you just said. As a matter of fact, it made me think, we work really hard in person to talk to our customers to build that rapport. But when we get on the phone, all we're saying is, hey, we got this quote, just wanted
Yep.
to know where you're at with things or whatever. We should be having a conversation on the phone with them and trying to identify their pain point and where we can come in and help. I mean, if we need to drop our price a little to make it more comfortable for them, at least we're getting work.
Yep.
When we're sitting still and we're not getting work, and we're like, well, I'm not going to be but so cheap. I mean, I understand that you can't lose money on the job, but if you can make the pain point go away for that customer, at least it's keeping you busy. It's giving you things to put out there to advertise with.
Yeah.
So that's a big one I just picked up just now with you talking about the soft, what's identify what the problem is. Let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what we do in the next couple of weeks.
That's the thing too, is this place is very, very big on systems, putting in systems that, allow you to do the same things every day and not fault and, not get behind. And we are in the process of still figuring out our systems.
Right.
And so actually being able to have teachers, or people who are in the business who are doing 7 figures and stuff like that, tell us the systems they've used and implemented into their business to grow it. It's helping us out a lot. And so we just get to see different, basically everybody's ideas and different ideas for how they've scaled their business.
Yeah,
So,
AI is becoming a real big topic now. And it's not that I don't think it works. I just don't know if all the bugs are out of it yet. I don't know. So it's hard to want to pay for something like that you don't know is proven just yet, but it looks like that is going to be the future.
Yeah.
And just about everything where there's a conversation to be had, you'll be talking to an artificial intelligence. So we'll see how it goes. I'm not against implementing it. I just want to make sure that it can still convey what we want to come across to the customer with. So
yeah, and it'll make those in-person interactions, those real interactions that aren't with AI, it'll make them even more beneficial, even more impactful because like they took the time. They're not just putting me to their AI assistant. Yeah, what's been the two quick questions to close out? What's been the hardest part about being in business so far?
the not being in business long enough to be able to weather the storm or know kind of when they're going to come.
Yep.
We talk to a lot of guys that are in the business for years, and we've asked them, how's your season go? When's your heavier months? When's your months you start to see slow down? And we've kind of identified that this year.
Mhm.
So basically we took what they've told us and we've looked at our season. so far. And we're like, okay, well, now we know when it kind of slows down and when it wants to pick back up. So we've got to take advantage of that. And when we're in the dip, we're marketing hard the month or two before that to really try to, like, not take it on the chin so bad in those lesser months.
Yeah.
So
I agree. I think I would say probably is just the not knowing. Starting a business is a risk. Everybody will tell you that. And so I wouldn't say that you're walking blind all the time, but there's definitely aspects where you're learning. And so you don't know basically what to do. And so that's definitely a hard part for me. I'm terrified of the unknown. That's my biggest fear, is the unknown. And so not knowing what to do or what the next step is to move forward in hard times or good times, that's a little bit harder for me. But other than that, the going to work's the easy part. Talking to people, that's the easy part. It's just the behind the scenes stuff when it comes to managing money, moving stuff around, continuing to keep clients, everything of that nature. That's a little bit of a hard part, but anybody will tell you that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
That's
for
business.
sure. I had somebody explain it to me the other day. I was talking about uncertainty or unknown, and they were like, have you ever played a game or played a video game and you beat the whole game? Like, you went through the whole process or whatever. And then you go and try and play it again, and the next time it's not as fun because
Right.
everything is happening. There's nothing unknown. You know what's going to happen. Every
Right.
step of the long way. And so the unknown, the uncertainty, although uncomfortable, is what makes it worth it. It's what makes it entertaining. It's what keeps us on our toes. And so,
Yep.
Yeah, that'll be the stuff you'll talk about down the line when you have made it.
Yep.
You remember
Yep.
when, we
Yeah.
had those that year and it was just so bad we didn't know what we were going to do.
Yep.
I mean, believe it or not, it's not always talking about the great times in life. It's talking about the bad times too, because I think in the bad times you learn and
Yep.
you remember more when you learn about something than when you just had a great time.
Yep.
And, it's easier to dismiss when you're in a good mood and everything's great. But when it's really hard and you've learned something, that sticks with you, man. So be thankful for those moments too in business. Don't always look at it as, man, business is so hard. Be thankful for those times that you're in that valley, because that's actually where you're growing up. That's where God's going to grow you up a little bit. He's going to teach you how to navigate that going forward, because you're always going to have it, man. Let's just be honest.
Yep.
Business is not perfect all the time. There's always fires to put out. There's always the bottom line to worry about. If you scale, people think if you're scaling, you're just killing it. Well, no, you're just adding another layer of problems.
Yep.
Even though you might have a better lifestyle financially,
Yep.
you've still got problems no matter what. And the best thing you can do is in those down times or those valleys is to learn from it. And I truly believe that's God's plan for all of us in life and in business, is to learn and grow and get better. So just my take on
For
it.
sure. Yeah, no, for sure. Amen. And then the last thing to close us out, what would you say to somebody who's thinking about getting started with Review Harvest, but they're kind of on the fence?
Your first 5 days, you'll probably be blown away and thinking it's a scam, because I
coming so fast.
genuinely thought I got 10 reviews in 3 to 4 days, and I was like, there's
Couldn't
no
believe
way
it.
this is real, because the amount of time it would take us to get 10 reviews in a normal aspect's probably a month, 2 months, 3 months. It could vary. So
Yeah.
don't just think that this is the type of thing where, I might get a couple reviews. You're not only going to get a couple reviews.
Right.
If you've got clientele and repeat clientele and you can text them and ask them for reviews, you're going to get your reviews.
Yeah.
So
Review Harvest just has a much more streamlined way of doing it, a better call to action. And it takes the load off of us having to remember hey, we need to send that email back out. Even with our CRM, it's set up to do that for us, but not on the scale that Review Harvest did or does it. And
Marquette puts it as an option.
right.
That's what I like
Review
about Review
Harvest.
Harvest. Review Harvest kind of like puts it right in front of you.
Yeah,
Like
there's
you
no option.
you should give this link.
Yeah.
With Marquette, it's just an option below the invoice. You could give this link if you want to, and then it doesn't really help us out at all. So
Right. But Review Harvest kind of puts the pressure on you to want to care about your vendor, about the person that's done the work for you. It kind of softens their heart a little bit, I guess, in the way it approaches your customer and says, hey, man, you'd really be helping these guys out to give them this review. People don't realize that, man, the way Google has such a hold on business now, it is paramount that you are getting reviews and that they are out there for people to read. It is the driver of our business. Let's just be honest. We get more, hey, I found you on Google. I read your reviews. I like what I've seen. The other guy was $50 more, but we like what we seen. And so what I would tell you is put a good profile out there. Really, really care about your customers. Don't just say it. And then you put Review Harvest on top of that, which is always in front of them, puts you always in front of them for that review. You're going to get them. And I mean, we got a ton of reviews right up front, but we have them trickling in all the time. And it's not just from people we're doing work for now. It's people in the past that
Past
haven't
clients.
answered.
We've gotten reviews from past people we've given estimates to, and they're telling us that we were good to work with and blah, blah, blah. And they didn't even accept our estimate.
They didn't
but
accept our
they're
quote.
still talking about how good we were to work with. And I was like, that's awesome. We would have never thought to ask those people for reviews.
That one guy, I know for who you're talking about, the one guy for sure, we've had more than one, but the one guy said they came out, they told us that their service, and we did, their service was not where we needed to be at right now, not what we needed to do right now. There was other issues that needed to be fixed first. We lost over $5,000 on that job.
But we were just trying to be honest with people.
But I wasn't going to clean their surfaces and then have them come back in a year and go, hey, I've got mold and mildew growing here because their pavers wasn't level and wasn't sealed, right? And so we could have went and sealed their pavers and we could have made over $5,000 doing it. But I wouldn't have been able to sleep at night knowing that I'd done something that was going to be a problem in less than a year. So what did they do? Review Harvest, because we had quoted them in the past, Review Harvest reached out to them. He gave us a quote saying we didn't go with these guys because they identified other issues that we have going on, and we really appreciate their honesty. And man, that speaks volumes. Somebody you haven't even done work for. So.
Yeah. No, and I think just imagine somebody reading that review, right? They're trying to figure out what company to work with, and they see this review from a guy that was like, hey, they gave me a quote, and they were just like, hey, I think you need to do this stuff first, and just that sort of honesty. People just crave that nowadays because obviously so many businesses are just money.
Right.
But if you put the customer first, it might be bad in the short term, but that'll come back. It'll come back in the long run for sure.
I actually sent them 2 vendors to fix their paver issues. That was not going to make me anything.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it was me caring enough about the customer to say, hey, this is what you got going on. You're not ready for us to come in. Let me see if I can find some guys to give you, a direction to go to fix this paver issue and level everything out. And then when you get it done and it's where it needs to be, call me. We'll roll right in here. We'll clean it up. We'll seal it up, and we'll give you a guarantee. And we'll wait to hear from you when it's time to reseal it.
Yep.
So we got a review off of that and didn't even work for the guy. So that's partly us trying to be honest, but it's also Review Harvest keeping us in front of someone who didn't even use our service, man.
Yep.
I mean, what more can you ask for there?
Awesome. Well, good stuff. Well, I really appreciate y'all hopping on. I'll let y'all get back to the huge conference, but thanks for y'all's time and best of luck to y'all continue scaling your business.
Thank you, Clay.
And I will be coming to see you about the roofing company before too long.
Yep.
All right. Sounds like a plan. See you.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.